Hello, everyone. Hello, greetings.
Hello, welcome.
Welcome to our show. I'm Darnell.
And I'm Angela.
And this is Garrison House. Much more comfortable. We've
Hi.
been doing things. We said we were going to do some things, but I'm going to talk about what we did today. We got some new chairs.
Yes, chairs.
Man, these are much more comfy. The other ones, they're in the studio here.
Somewhere, right?
Yeah. So we have a great, we have a really good show today.
Yes.
We basically simple. It's not going to be complex. Two simple topics, and
Yes.
it's going to be great. First, we want to also say subscribe to
Yes.
us on our socials. Eventually, we're going to get an X account. I just haven't gotten to that. And follow us on Facebook. Visit our website, GarrisonHousePodcast.com. You can see how to get in touch with us everywhere, from leaving a tip. Only thing I didn't put in there is our mailing address because, I'm like, who does snail mail? And apparently every once in a while we do get a letter in the mail for, I had a situation where a relative couldn't figure out how to reach me, so he sent me a letter. So,
Wow. All right.
it was concerning his grandfather, who's actually a Southern historical figure. We'll say that for later. However, he sent me a letter. And that was nice to get that letter. It's a snail mail. So people still write letters. So we enjoy them. Every once in a while we get a letter from someone. So, but anyway, just do that. Leave us a tip because when you leave a tip, it helps us do more upgrades around here.
Right.
We are doing upgrades, even though we haven't, we've only received one person since we started the tip jar, which is blessed. I'm not complaining. But yeah, we have some great things planned for this year going somewhere. We're getting things in order, so y'all see us in another area having some fun. Right. But anyway, we got, like I said, we have a great program. How's it going with you?
That's going pretty good. We had a great weekend, and Friday prayer was blessed.
Yes.
Talking about spirit of fear, getting rid of the fear in your life. Fear can be anything. Fear could be stepping out on faith or stepping out to do something. That could cause fear because you feel like you're going to fail. Fear can also be a physical thing, a mental thing, where you're scared to do something because you fail or something happened when you're doing that initially. So stepping away from the spirit of fear.
Yeah, I remember when we first started this. I remember that first time you tell the story every once in a while. So we're doing this tonight?
Right. And it was because he posted stuff on Facebook and saying we're going live, and I'm like, okay. And here we are. We
over a year now.
Over a year. Yep, it's been over a year now, and we're still going strong. And we actually added more day.
Every week now.
Every week
so
now.
It's no longer every other.
Right.
I think we had to learn how to balance it. There's ways that we learned to balance it. We took basically something that our pastor does. We say, we can apply that too. Now we don't go as far ahead as he do. We are within the same week because things happen, or same day or the day before because things happen. So it's always good to be able to go live or present it to you pre-recorded on the, it's easier for us.
Right.
And we can actually engage with you. So that's one of the things I like when we actually did our first Facebook Live pre-record last week, and we were able to engage with you. So that was fun, even though this is the week is not Facebook Live. So this is the Cashmere week. So y'all know what time it is today. Y'all already know what we're going to talk about because it's not on Facebook. We're not limited through what we say. They're still cleaning it up. They're still getting it together. I remember you did a post a while back. Let me see if I can find that. You did a post a while back. And let's see. I'm going to try to bring it up. Here we go. I'm still getting this stuff together here. Let's see. Oops. There we go. We had got muted.
Right. We got muted the last time because we said Garrison House. And
right.
I'm like, honey, what did we say wrong? I still don't get it, but apparently, we got muted there. Basically, I believe that one might have been, I don't know.
I don't know what it was. 16. They removed 16 minutes. So that's some of the stuff we deal with on the Facebook thing. And, I'm enjoying my new toy. So
I don't know if they removed 16 minutes, but it started at 16 minutes. They muted that part, what we said. So it's not like everything else is muted.
We didn't say nothing. I'll just tell you that right now.
No.
So
I think it was something. One was our daughter. I mentioned she was
yeah,
online.
our baby girl.
Our baby
They
girl.
muted us.
Right, but she's 21. She logged into our Facebook Live, and they muted that.
They always, as a parent,
I think it's because of maybe they're thinking it's children.
maybe AI needs to have children. And then AI will understand when we say
I
baby.
mean, I get it.
I get it,
sometimes
too.
they want to make sure that you're not we don't have a topic or headline as for children.
Yeah,
So they want to make sure
Yeah.
that we're not, doing things incorrectly or something.
Well, it is what it is. But anyway, we're going to talk about FAA issues in this section because a lot of issues have been going on. We've had one major
And
collision, and one plane just literally stalled. I know some people are like, it's stalled, and they don't. I'm still doing my homework on that. That
and
EMS.
it's worldwide. I mean,
Yeah.
it's because it happened in Korea. First it happened in Korea
It
where
wasn't December.
something like that, and the landing gear didn't go, and it just right across the tire mark and smashed into the wall, and that's the sadness that happened there.
And the reason, one of the things about going to the Philadelphia incident is I've been reading up on it. Some people have said, one person in the comments on one YouTuber that I watched said that somebody had flown with them, and their maintenance is Mexican maintenance rules are different than American. And so there are situations, you don't know, even though they have to have proof that they're maintaining these planes before they can fly into American airspace. They can cut corners. And so basically that's what it sounds like. There's something went wrong. And so people are still giving hypotheses on what happened on that. However, the bigger issue is in Reagan International. Now, I've flown into that airport before. It's a blessed airport. It's kind of retro. And so ironically, I'm going to play this clip here, and we're going to take a listen as soon as I get it. Let's see if we can get it to play. It played earlier. So basically, the article basically says America desperately needs more air traffic controllers. And so why is it so tough to hire them? So what I'm going to do real quick here, let's see, because I am trying to get it to work. So let's do this. I'm going to refresh. Because she made a good point. Here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and play it.
Concerns are reemerging after 67 people were killed along the Potomac River in Washington, D.C. Wednesday night. Preliminary reports say staffing was not at normal levels for the traffic volume at that time. Colin Scodging says staffing has been a problem ever since his career started more than 40 years ago.
Staffing has been an issue with the FAA since the strike in 1981. They've never really had enough controllers.
It was during that strike, former President Ronald Reagan fired 11,000 air traffic controllers, and they still don't have enough workers.
I feel we're probably 1,000 to 1,200 controllers short. And if they get up to that number, and you always have some in training, then you always will be able to backfill that. So hopefully they get the numbers up, and where we won't have that issue, where controllers aren't forced to work overtime.
The FAA announced last year they've added 1,400 positions to help alleviate staffing shortages, but it takes years to train air traffic controllers. A lot of that training goes into how to communicate quickly and safely.
You don't want to shoot from the hip and make up your own phraseology. Not that some people don't a little bit, but it's frowned upon. If everybody uses the exact same phraseology, that keeps things better understanding along to the pilots.
And we're also hearing from Senator Jeanne Shaheen, who says that air traffic control workers have long been understaffed and overworked. She says more needs to be done to improve staffing. She believes that there's about 3,500 workers short nationwide. We're live in Londonderry. Maria will.
Okay, so you heard that. She basically laid it out. Ronald Reagan, for those of us who are old enough, I remember the air traffic control strike, and he fired everybody. That's what they didn't really mention. It was a strike, and I remember it in '81. Even though I was, just hitting my 11. I was hitting 11. It was a strike. The air traffic controllers were on strike. He said, basically, if you're not going to go back to work, you're fired. He fired them. And from that point on, so this is an issue that happened in 1981. This is not new, even though I know everybody says DEI. That's part of the problem. I'm doing my homework on that. It's a lawsuit that was filed where they were having an issue. Some people who were going to the school, passing, coming out with high test scores, and they were not hired. I'm working on that. I'm not going to start talking about something I'm not going to do my homework on. However, at the same time, look at how much they get paid. $105,000 a year, basically $105,297 per year. That's the average salary.
Now, I believe usually that's the top end.
Yeah, that's the top.
I'm quite sure that that's something that you probably won't necessarily get right off the bat, but that's probably the top end of the salary.
That is actually the top end. Looking at the salary estimates coming in, if you can see there, you see it's basically you would say the starter is $66,000 to $79,000. Then that's through Indeed. That's what they're saying. Glassdoor is saying $97,000 to $150,000. Talent.com is saying anywhere from 75. Never heard of Talent.com. I've heard of Indeed, but I never heard of it. Talent is saying 75,000 to 170K. So what this is telling us is Indeed is probably saying we're bringing in entry level. Glassdoor is saying we're bringing in people who have the experience, and Talent is saying we're bringing in supervisors. We're bringing in people who have the talent and the ability to do what we need to be done.
And basically that they're saying is that it's a staffing shortage. No matter what, even if DEI is not always that part of it. No. It's just a staffing shortage, and there's not enough people to want to go into these types of careers now. And so even if you do it, it's still, as she was saying in the report, it still takes time. You still you cannot going to be 100% right off the bat. You know, it's almost like they need actual interns, just like fellowships and doctors. You go to medical school, then you have to go into residency, then you go into fellowship. That's how it goes. That's you can't just say, okay, I graduated and automatically it's a start, because you will know the terminology that is needed, but yet and still you still need to sit under somebody in order to understand that. Maybe that's what they need to start doing. Maybe a year is just to go, because when you're in medical school, the fourth year is all about the hospital. Whatever specialty you're going into is all about that. But anyway, so then maybe that's kind of how it needed to start. And I think I remember a while back, somewhere I was on YouTube or something, and they were talking about fast tracking pilots, because there was a shortage of pilots. So they were talking about fast tracking pilot programs. So it's a shortage, period. No matter what you're going to say, it's a shortage. And unfortunately, this accident happened, and it's a sad thing, and we're still praying for the people that are all involved in it.
Yeah, because I decided that while she was talking to go and see how much was required to be to be a FAA thing, which is interesting, is they have other requirements, medical security, which is common, physical and psychological and all that, yes, but their age limit, if you see that there, it's an age limit of 31. If you're older than 31, you have at least, basically, you have to be under 31 to get in the door. So I guess I'm out.
If you're older than 31, you have to have at least 1 year
of relevant work experience. And, which is interesting is this. You're saying, that goes back to really, so you're telling me I'm too old to get, but that's where you're going to find your experience. Unfortunately, it is they say several months to a few years. Unfortunately, they're going to have to bring in older people. I know they're probably thinking, well, 31. They want to get the life. They want to get as much out of you as you can. So they figure 31, you're going to retire. If you're max 31, you're going to retire at 50. You're going to get your 30 years, 61. Mm-hmm. However, you do need to probably consider saying, maybe we need to bring that age up. Let anyone go in under a certain age, bring that up to maybe under 60, because you need people. And you're up here, I mean, I know we're saying they want to say DEI, DEI, DEI. It's more than that. How many of those under 31 are considering being an air traffic controller?
It's interesting that mentioning that is because you look at it, there are jobs that you never think that you should apply to, or you never thought to apply to, or try to get into. Who actually thought about becoming an air traffic controller at one point in stage of their life? You know, you up and say, "Oh, I always want to be an air traffic controller." Yeah. It's usually passed down from family members or something like that, and or if you loved aviation. You know, then you were like, okay, you know what? I want to be an air traffic controller. But some jobs, just a simple job, you never thought, I want to go work at a gas station. When you hear people say they work at a gas station, you never thought people actually work at gas stations, you know? Yeah. So you never think that because you just think it's just, people just there, you know, right, you know? So that's kind of how it is. You never think about a job unless it's something that you always want to do. Or some family member, or passed down from family members, or things in that nature, or you just love aviation.
Well, like in the beginning, generation, like you said, generational. Mm-hmm. Reagan cut all those jobs. Mm-hmm. And they were probably people who were second and third generation air traffic controllers. Mm-hmm. Where are you going to get them? So now they're, in a situation where Reagan National, President Trump, they said no more, he cut off the helicopters for now because the airspace is too crowded. And as people, we live in air traffic space, literally. Mm-hmm. You can't hear it, but there's planes flying over us constantly. So from somebody who lives in a approach and takeoff vector, as they say, I want to make sure that person's experienced up there. And the blessing is we live we're so far away, we don't have a lot of that traffic here. However, that's kind of scary as someone who lives in an approach and takeoff vector. You just don't know.
A lot, before we go in this, a lot of this also goes back to people always saying, be your own boss.
Yeah.
And if you're telling people to be your own boss, but you're not telling them the benefits of working for a certain career, that's the problem too. And now in our society now, and you look at the past 5, 6 years, or even 10 years, it's all about you influencers. So that's all it is. It's just like it's a lot of content creators who are out there. So it went from YouTubers to influencers. Now they're called content creators. So that's another thing. People want that fast-paced money, and nobody doesn't want to work for it. Everybody who jumps on these things are not going to always get that viral video. So if you're thinking that you want to start your YouTube channel, you're thinking in one video and you're done. No, it's going to take time to cultivate it. People who are at a certain level at this point has been doing this longer and done it.
Yeah, they have, and we shall see what happens, but we'll follow that. We'll keep following that because it's Doge versus everybody right now.
Yeah. So we all know what's been going on with Doge, and head up by the appointee by President Trump, Elon Musk, and his team. And he has been hitting a lot of federal agencies, federal government, and basically he's an auditor. Everybody does audits. And he should be doing audits, but and he has been doing a lot of audits on people's books. And a lot of people are not happy. And before we go into the Doge thing, let's talk about something that was online and going into the vein where how Christianity plays a role. And this pastor here, Jamal Bryant, and if you have not heard or have not known, this is what he says that his church should follow and do.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am calling us, listen to me, because we have to operate in the spiritual. I am calling the conscientious Christian community all over this country, the conscientious Christian community all over this country. I am calling for a 40-day fast from Target. Beginning on March the 5th, 100,000 conscientious Christians. You don't have to be black, Latino, Asian, white, 100,000. You're going to sign this commitment to be a part of this 40-day fast. 100,000 of you bare minimal. I'm asking you that after service you'll go to targetfast.org. Targetfast.org.
All right, here we go.
So yeah, is that biblical? Fasting. No. What is fasting? Fasting is supposed to be fasting against something of that you are going to. All
I can say is
it's fasting to go fast. Now he may have used the terminology as a Christian base, but basically it's a boycott. He's telling people to boycott Target, but he's saying as a Christian we should fast against Target. Fasting against Target is if you had a habit where you have to go to Target every single day because it's just something you have to do. You have to fast against that because your flesh is a fleshly thing. And so that's what fasting does. It kills the flesh for wanting to do things that is causing possibly sin in your life. Fasting against Target, so because of they closed DEI programs, that's not the right terminology. He is basically saying boycotting.
Yeah,
that's what he's kind of saying.
As we're going to disclose here, as two former Target team members, Target has a whole lot of hot mess that goes on behind the scenes. So, we worked for Target in the 90s, so we know the culture of Target from a team member perspective. She was there longer than me, then her father was there longer than both of us. So we know the culture of Target. However, who cares? I'm just saying, when I hear you talking, because here's the issue. I'm going to just say it when we first talked about this. You're going to boycott Target, and then all of a sudden they close a Target. What happens to all those jobs that were in that Target? So you're not thinking of the fact, we're going to do a national boycott. Target said, fine, well, some of these stores, we'll just close down these underperforming stores because you're going to affect our sales. That's what happened with the first boycott on the conservative side. Also, the Christians boycotted Target during the whole situation dealing with Pride Month. It affected them badly. So they ended up downsizing. So yeah, you're going to cause people to lose their jobs. So what does that benefit you?
And one of the things, so Target in certain areas, demographic are's, have been shutting down because the people have been stealing.
Yeah, 5-finger discounts.
The employees have been finding loopholes. Mm-hmm. People have been stealing. So in certain communities, Target was already closed. Yeah. You're not going to find a Target in a deep, should I say it?
Well, no, you'll see them there.
Black communities.
But they shut them down. They're going back to when we talk about planogram. They're a smaller planogram store, similar to the one I went to in Philly. Those are the size Targets they have. I went to a Target where I think is maybe 3 times, it was a quarter the size of the Target in our area. It was so small. Plus, you had to pay for parking. And but it was an interesting Target. But you literally can probably throw a football from one end to the other, and it was really not that. A Buc-ee's was bigger than that Target. I'm just going to say a Buc-ee's we went to was actually bigger than that store. So that's what they'll put in. They'll put in a smaller Target store in areas they feel, and they also have police officers on duty. It's easier to monitor a smaller planogram store than it is to have a bigger one, because I've been in situations where we had to arrest an older man for stealing batteries at the Target where I have worked at. And he has stole batteries.
It's Target is no longer in those heydays when we were working at Target back in the 90s. It's no longer in the heydays. No. I mean, you're talking about several different presidential presidents going through and having to deal with certain economics during those times, those presidents. So things come up, things go down, up and down, up and down. And that's one of the things. So it's no longer... I used to like going to Target. I haven't been in Target in so long till my daughter, she started working at Target. And I'll leave that one alone.
I forgot she was a Target team member too.
Yeah, and so until she ended up,
bouncing out of there.
Yeah, and so and that's when I actually started to go back to Target, was during that time. And that was just a year and a half ago. So a lot of people do not shop there as what you think they do. You see the jokes where you go to Target and they end up coming out there for one thing, come out for several different items, and you're spending $9. It does happen. Yeah. Or the joke where the dads are in the parking lot. It's funny, but you got to realize not a lot of people do Target espally once Walmart came in and started to rebuild, started to go into the communities now. So, and a lot of people are going to the Walmarts now. And the pricing is better when it came to Walmart. So that's another thing.
Well, the hurting part of Target is this: when Target, before they shut down the Hudson's division, Target was like the low end. It was stuff that wasn't really sold at the Hudson stores, or they would bring it, or Marshall Fields, because at the time we worked there, Target it was Dayton Hudson Corporation. That's what we worked for originally before they changed to the Target Corporation. Is during the 90s when a lot of these companies divested their sub-brands, Radio Shack, Dump, Color Towel, and all their brands, and went centered into one brand. And when they got rid of that, that's when Target started raising their prices, because they didn't have that higher price location. So everything shifted into Target. Their prices went up, and people just said, Walmart came, and people said, I can go get that same item at Walmart for $3 or $4, maybe $5 less. So everybody goes to Walmart. And then, because Target killed Kmart.
Right.
So, I mean, honestly, because I used to be, one of the jobs I had at Target, I was a signing supervisor. So one of our jobs in supervisory is nobody wanted to do it. I had to go and spend a whole day in the Kmart with my huge pad of paper and compare prices.
Right.
And then I would take my document, my report would go back to corporate, and actually to the general manager. Then I guess they did what they did. They would make the prices match what Kmart had.
They did, and they also did price matching.
Yeah.
So Target did price matching in the beginning. Now I don't know if they still do, but Target used to do price matching, and Kmart. That was back in early.
That was 95.
Yeah, 90. Yeah, because right before 2000. Yeah, they were doing a lot of everybody was doing it for whatever reason. Everybody, because it was the market. So everybody, even no matter what retailer it was, they were doing price matching. Matter of fact, when I was working in a pharmacy, they used to get pharmacy calls from, they don't tell you that they're from a pharmacy until they're asking certain drugs and asking how much our drugs were. So that everybody was doing what we call price matching, comp shopping, and trying to see what prices you're going to offer, and it's usually around the area. Now, they used to have to go to the store, and they knew, that's person's comp shopping.
We went in. We didn't go in with our red and khakis on. We went just normal.
Sometimes they go in there with their uniform on.
I didn't go in with my red and khaki. I didn't go in there with my name tag, which is still around here somewhere. I didn't wear my badge or nothing. I just went in there with my long sheet of printout, walking through that whole Kmart. In fact, it was Kmart number 1. I had to go comp shop. That Kmart number 3, the original Kmart, I had to go spend a whole day in the original Kmart. And then they would do the same thing at Target. Now, I never saw them at Target, but I heard they comp shop the Target. So, the original.
Everybody, right, every retailer.
Comp shopping.
Every retailer comp shops.
I only experienced that in Target. I never experienced it in my Radio Shack years.
Right. And they usually call when we are the most busiest. It's just like, Look, I get it. You got to do it, but I can't talk to you right now. Just send us a list and we'll write it down for you.
Those were the days. But however, I decided, since we're saying Doge versus everybody else, I decided, is it working on yours? Because
I don't know. Well, it'll still be the same thing.
Yeah. So I went to USAID, one of the really major audits of that's their website.
It's down.
And I'm literally like, okay, I'm clicking on it.
They are already in the midst of, they already shut it down. Now, if you want to know, the judge did put a
temporary hold,
strain on, but they did it on the firing or the laying off the federal workers, per se. That's what he put. That's what the hold is on. It has nothing to do with stopping the aid itself. it's just stopping them from firing or letting go or giving them a buyout of the federal employees. That's what the judge put a hold on. Here on Time Magazine, I don't have it on my laptop, but I'll just go through it right now. These are some of the things that USAID was funding. It's United States Agency International something.
I'll put that up right
there. What is it?
It's United States Agency of International Development.
So this is, you said, was supposed to help develop other countries, development of other countries. So here are some of the things that they were funding. One of them was protecting the Amazon rainforest and fighting cocaine in South America. So that was one of the things. I'm not going to read exactly because there's a lot to say. And then another one was disease response, girls' education, and free school lunches in Africa. Now, I'm all for children and food. Children needs to eat. But let's deal with us here, because if you realize it was almost about 4 or 5 years ago, or probably even earlier than that, some states were not allowing children to eat. They were letting the children not eat. For whatever reason, they didn't have the money. I don't know what kind of programs they had, and they would not do it. And so I remember some businessman wanted to pay for everybody's lunch, children's lunch, and they told him no. So yeah, states were doing that. No, I'm all for if the children can't look. I mean, if you can't eat, I'm all for children and food and cafeteria lunch, because sometimes that's all they have. So this one was that.
Oh, here's one, $6 million to fund tourism in Egypt.
Right. Now that's the things that they were talking about. That was one of the talking points. These are just all of almost everything besides just the talking points.
Wait a minute. They had the new Sesame Street. They spent $20 million on
the
a Sesame Street
shows in Iraq. Yes.
Really?
Yes. These are the talking points that he's showing you. This is Time Magazine,
Yeah, right.
and
She's
these
on
are
from Time.
these are other things that they were funding, not just the talking points that they were talking about that it was doing.
And yes, it's Girl Scout cookie time.
Yep. Countering Russian influence, hospitals in war-ravaged Syria.
I see that.
Support for marginalized communities from the Balkans to Uganda. $1 billion from USAID since 1999. Women's groups feared the impact of losing American funding for gender and diversity-related projects. Let's see here.
Well, while you're looking at $150 billion whole agency for building basically equity and net zero, basically the new Green New Deal.
Support
$150 billion.
Support for media in Myanmar and mine clearance in Cambodia. Wartime help in Ukraine. And Ukraine, he just came out and said out of the $177 billion we sent, they haven't seen 100. Let's see, they haven't seen the 100 billion, or they haven't had the access to 100. Well, they haven't had access to the 100 billion of that. So that means they only received like 77 billion. So they're saying that we sent them 177 billion, but the Ukrainian president Zelensky said they only received 77 billion of that. That's what he said. Don't quote me. That's what I'm saying. That's what I was reading about.
I'm just going to go ahead and get off that one page, because some of the stuff they funded made absolutely no sense. And people are upset about this. It's like, why are you upset about, you know how much, like she said, I'm for helping other countries, but you need to help home first.
And a lot of people, a lot of countries are saying they're happy. Especially when
I got that text I sent you. Let me see if I can.
A lot of countries are happy that they're not being funded, because there is some level of corruption when it comes to money. It's here, it's overseas. It's when it deals with money, there is some level. Now, I'm not saying every country, but I'm just saying there is some level, and when it's dealing with money, look, we watch TV shows, right? And in order to send help, Okay, they had to justify what they're doing, so they're hiding it under health aids or health not health like medical supplies. Oh well, we just can't say we're sending missionaries overseas in order to save somebody's life, so we're going to say that we're sending over health. Medical supplies and the rules of sin. So yeah, that stuff, that's what we hear on TV. And then they were like, well, all this stuff, how are these things being funded? As we always goes back to the Independence Day. It's not like they're paying $20,000 on a hamburger and $50,000 on a toilet seat.
Well, let's take a listen to what she said. In fact, I know she didn't say anything wrong, but she made a point. Let's take a listen.
This is for entertainment purposes only. We should be celebrating the shutdown of US aid. I know it's going to affect 44,000 guys in Kenya. Most of them are these briefcase NGOs and these jungus who have come here to live a best life and changed Nairobi into the nightmare that it is. 350,000 Kenyans, sadly, will also be indirectly affected. But these were the guys who were being used to introduce all kinds of programs. Because the US aid was a military tool to control African nations using soft power. That's why you used to see you're getting US aid and then you also have to implement the LG. You know what I mean? So this revolution is here. These were the gatekeepers that didn't want Kenya to change. About 44,000 guys who are probably in the Muthaigas and the Rundas of this world, gone. Nairobi is about to go through such a revolutionary shift. And we should be celebrating because with this gone, they've basically removed the front that the divided states was using to keep guys like Nabi in power, to remove revolutionary leaders, to influence every level of our politics. And I'm sure some of you have dealt with those arrogant.
All right, so that's it. That's where I'm gonna stop it right there because I don't think she says anything. However, that's someone who is basically happy for it. And we do have people here going, oh, well, why they do this? However, like she said, it was soft. They were controlling their government and they were basically doing things using our money. And it's sad. It's so much stuff that is in there. And she posted that on the 4th of February.
Going back also, some of the things that they have shut down, political, you don't have to.
Okay.
Political, as you can see here, they stopped. I guess there was some subscription going to Politico. It's a it's an online magazine, nonprofit online magazine or news site.
It's actually a biased publication.
Right. But it was always geared towards left, and so what was happening was they were saying that Politico was talking about more that they were receiving between 4 million or something like that in subscription from the U.S. government. And so Politico was like, oh, no. It was the Politico Pro, and people pay for it. They get a lot more extra content from us. That's what they were paying for that's what news people were paying for in order to get more political. It was the Political Pro site. So that's what they were saying.
I see that there.
You see it?
Yes, there on the bottom. They talked about most. There you go, full screen.
Yeah, Political Pro is different. It's a professional subscription service used by companies, organizations, and yes, some government agencies. Yeah. They subscribe because it makes them better at their jobs. So why do you have to subscribe to it? And why are government agencies subscribing to it? And why are other companies, organizations, when you are the person who is dictating of what you're saying to the federal people? About the federal company, they got booted out of Pentagon. Pentagon booted out a lot of these news outlets out of the thing. They removed CNN. They removed MSNBC.
MSNBC. However,
with a lot of those.
Looking at this, I do a lot of AI. Let me tell you something. I do a lot. I've been testing AI quite a bit. This was now I'm not sure if it's possible. This letter here had to be proofed by AI. And the reason why I've been testing a lot of stuff, because I'm working on a book, and I see the infamous dash, better their jobs dash, which is supposed to be a comma. AI puts dashes there in a lot of their stuff. So when you see a lot of those dashes, and I see it all riddled through the whole thing, you can put in basically the points, and AI will technically generate this whole letter with the bullet points. So I'm not saying they use AI. However, I see a lot of AI within the writing style, because once you start playing with AI for writing, the more you do it, the more you start seeing things like, wait a minute, I don't like the dash there. So that is something to me that says, oh, so you guys wrote this using AI. And the AI, instead of editing out that the dashes and putting the proper punctuations there, they left the dashes in there, which is common. That's something that AI does quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so that's another thing. And then we have, this is a bite here where these congressmen or representatives wanted to enter the.
Okay, so you are aware this agency is very busy currently, and they are not able to take a meeting currently. They advise that they will be in contact shortly, and that best to contact the Department of State at this time if you need any further comments.
Who is they?
The front office of the administrator.
So could I just ask, are you with AIB?
I am.
Thank you for your service.
Well, thank you for what you do.
Are the Doge people here? Are they in this building now?
We have 8 employees currently. That's all I know. I don't know specific who Doge is or any of that. I just know that 8 employees are here. Although, as you are all aware, it's in the press. Everybody's been asked to telework. There are select people here to provide services for the agency. So the rest of them are all telework.
Are you career?
I am. Are you?
Thank
you as well.
Yeah.
Thank you. We want to thank you for your service. So there's no opportunity to.
No, unfortunately, I don't control that. I'm just here to pass along the information. Thank you for coming, and I'm sure Department of State will be putting out more information for sure.
Are you the senior civil servant here?
No, I am not the senior civil servant. I have gray hair like
today.
No, absolutely, just gray hair. That's it. That's the senior part of me. Okay, thank you. All right, thank you.
Okay, so as you saw there, DHS security was there. DHS police was there. I thought it was security. That's DHS. That's them trying to go in there, because the thing is, we have elected representatives. I know people say, oh, they're our leaders. No, they're not your leader. And I keep saying this. People keep saying, oh, pray for our elected leaders. They're not your leaders. They're your representatives. They're supposed to represent the will of the people. And we start calling them elected leaders, guess what? They are representing their personal will, their personal vendettas, their personal motives. And they're not really representing the mass majority. There was a CNN poll. I need to pull that up, because there's a CNN poll that showed that people of both parties equally agree on what's going on. And I'm going to see if I can pull that up.
Some people do things out of defiance. We know sometimes it's out of defiance. It's not necessarily doing for the will of the people. Some things need to be stand up and said. We're not going to deny that. Some things do need to be stand up and said, because they, as he was saying, they are the elected officials for the voice of the people that they represent. But some things are, you know what, sit down for a minute. Let's figure out what's going on. People are sometimes just doing it because it's defiance. Auditing is not something that has never happened. Audits been going on since day one. If you worked retail, there was audit on, you had to do audits on inventory audits. There's audit books. You had to make sure that the books are balanced, that there was no skimming. That's the reason why a lot of people, there was embezzling with that. That's the reason why there's embezzlements, that's the reason why there's things like that. So they have to audit the books to make sure that the money is being spent properly. When they don't see that the money has not been spent properly, then it's up to the federal government to decide what to do. And that's one of the things that they were talking about.
I know they're calling it Doge. However, I've been following this. there's a lot of every president does this. This is the first president that's actually doing it and actually acting on it. I'm not sure if Trump did it in his first term. However, they said Clinton did it, Obama did it, and now I don't think Biden did it, but Clinton did it and Obama. So there is a gap of years in there. So maybe this is an audit that's done periodically. So this is an actual American audit. And in both cases, Clinton and Obama received the information where the spending was going and didn't act on it. Whereas Trump is receiving the reports like, hold up, wait a minute. Why do we keep raising a debt ceiling? Why don't we cut debt? It's just like I was telling you earlier, it's like I can't go to the bank and say, hey, you know what? Just pass every check through. Just pay it, and just pay it. Next, the bank say, you're about $20,000 in the negative here. Well, just keep paying it. Just keep paying it. But you're only putting in so much money. Well, it'll be okay. Well, we're good for it. That's what the government is essentially doing. Basically, the United States is, I don't like using this term, but I'm going to, bankrupt. I mean, in real corporate America, you will have, and I've been in a business where the court assigned an auditor, and they go through every single part of the book. They sit you down, they talk to you. So what do you do here? So this is not uncommon in corporate America. When it's getting ready to go into bankruptcy, the court assigns an auditor. I forget what the real term is really called, but basically a Doge type situation. And they're coming in there to clean house. They're not coming in there. Right. And next thing you know, they're cutting this out, cutting that out. They're looking at you. Well, you can't work 80 hours every 2 weeks anymore. We need you to go down to 60 because they're trying to pay creditors. And so in corporate America, it's the same thing. So what they're doing is they're coming in and saying, hey, where's this money going? Okay, why do we need to spend $20,000 on a subscription? Well, because we need it. No, you don't need it. It's just
some people do just enough under a certain threshold without being seen. If you're continually passing $70,000 a year, what technically, what is $70,000? How is that really going to affect it? But if you're continually passing something, it goes under, as you say, it goes under the radar. So nobody's not going to question 70,000 until it's like, wait a minute, we've been doing this for the last 10, 20 years. Somebody's been getting $70,000 for some program, and it's probably just one person sitting in one of these federal buildings, and that's their pay just to sit there and press a button. That goes back to Lost. If that TV show Lost, pushing the button. They had to keep pushing that button because they told them that that's what they had to do. And if you don't push this button, you don't. And who knows what might happen? So that's what people were doing. So who knows what? It's just stuff. Small amounts does go on into the radar. It's the bigger amounts people always be questioning. So that's another one of those things where,
this is
because granted, $20 million is a lot. Let's say overall, let's say and you said alone, USAID alone, I believe came to like 26 million. I don't know exact the numbers, but does that really help cut something? It's a start. It's just like your personal banking. We always find some way to cut stuff. And there are some things you just can't cut because we need lights, we need internet, we need food. But prices are going up, utilities are going up, but people's pockets are not. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's like I'm looking at Axios and some of the stuff they're talking about.
This is one of the Department of Education meltdowns. So here we go.
Rules. We're allowed in there.
So a private security contractor
do you know who members of Congress are?
Members of Congress.
We're all members of Congress.
Maybe he doesn't understand.
A private security contractor is making the decision to block members
to
of
make
Congress
sure that nobody gets into the Department of Education building. Now, if you ask any of these senators or representatives how many times they've gone there,
that has been knighted and
granted. This is probably my first time doing it. So that's what they're talking to. He's just standing his ground. He's just doing his job, and they're yelling and screaming, asking why can't they go in? Why can't they go in? And yet and still, never mind, leave that alone.
Yeah, we're gonna walk away from that.
I won't go say what I wanted to say, but so that's another thing where they're talking about
this whole. I understand everything that's going on we're all like, everybody's going, Elon this. Look, I actually have more respect for Elon now. Over the last 4 years, my respect level for him has gone up because he stopped being quiet. He started saying his opinion. He's the kind of guy, I'm not sure if it's true, they're saying he's sleeping in the building there, in the building where the Doge is based, which is not uncommon for him. Elon Musk is known to, when he's building a new plant, he sleeps in the plant. He's not the kind of guy that goes, he may have a big old nice suite at a hotel. He may be there for one day just when he lands, but he's known to sleep on the floor of his buildings, and he goes all in. He doesn't just.
That's another thing people are saying too, that he's running the Doge, as if he was running X, and he's using the same he's using the same playbook when he took over X, and he had to fire all these people. So they're doing a comparison because that's how he feels how all this should go. Okay, so and then Vivek, he wanted to do it more politically
nicer, and
so that was reason why the split between the two. He decided to go back into the political arena
and run for government,
but however audit facility that he wants. Now we're talking about the young people that are coming in. He hired all these young people to do a job. Who knows? That could be fishing. That could be a catfishing us, people, just to see what people will take, because
we ain't gonna say the name, but they're gonna say the name of the one young man.
Big B's, it's like, right. And who's to say that, because they found some obscure tweet he did back when, when he was young. He's young now still. Who know? And before he was even went out, he was already fired before. Now they're talking about bringing him back. Now they're talking about bringing him back. So is it wrong? Who knows? If it's right, who knows? Then we were talking about oversight committee. Wasn't an oversight committee? Aren't they supposed to be the ones who actually supposed to be doing this?
Supposed to.
Sometimes the oversight committee are just sitting back collecting the check. I mean, I think that's the thing. Trump was saying he's tired of people just sitting back collecting a check. So he's like, if you're not going to be working, then you should go. Hey, he became the president of the United States, unfortunately, and like him or not, this is how he's wanted to govern the United States. We're still standing, Yeah. So unfortunately, that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah, because here's how 1,016, which is a pretty decent poll. I look at the numbers. I'm not really, when I see numbers here among 1,600 adults surveyed, and this is how people see everything. So basically, this is the order people want to see things covered in. These are more important to the people. National Weather, NWS, Center, CDC, FAA. I think that they may need to do that one again. FDA, TSA, FBI is FEMA, and then ICE. Those are pretty much what everybody's really favorable of. I may have some issues. I do believe FAA needs a little more attention. The weather services in their world, but I think we're seeing where people are. These are the issues that concern the people. These are the areas people want to see handled, and we do need to look at national weather, not as much. The CDC, which is good, but we need to focus more on America, what's happening in our country. I know everybody's talking about the DEI. It's not, the bigger picture is spending. You can't spend money you don't have. And that's what's going on here in America. We spend money that we do not have. Again, like I said, we look at, for example, they give out credit cards like candy. And boy, do we know. I pulled up my report and say, whoa, we got.
Yeah.
So we have to even get control of our own spending too, and say, do we really need an extra this? Do we need an extra that? So that's all in everything. It's just that, I see you got something on the screen. You want to play that?
It's cute. It's a cute thing. So we try not to be too serious. This is kind of funny. Ready?
Here we go.
No, about my job. I want you to tell me I'm good at what I do.
You're obviously good at what you do.
Then why are you always ripping on me?
Oh, I understand the confusion. Now, I have never said that you are not good at what you do. It's just that what you do is not worth doing.
It's nicer than anything he's ever said to me. I'd take it and run.
For the words from the mouth of Sheldon.
So that was kind of cute.
Yeah, and that's basically
what
the people are saying. We're like, do we really need you? I mean, my issue is this, and I didn't see NASA on here. NASA is actually something we need to come back to as a level of importance. Space exploration should be important. However, at the end of the day, Doge is just an audit, and it's just headed by somebody. It's headed by Elon Musk.
Right.
And you just got to realize it's an audit that is not being done in secret as previous ones have been done.
That's one of the things, as you're saying, with this administration, wants transparency. So whatever he's doing, he's going to show light. He's not going to hide it. So that's one of the things that it's something that you've never seen. Some people like to be sheltered and blinded from what's going on behind the scenes in politics. We just want to make sure that we be able to go to the store, go to the grocery store, go to the gas station, and do what we need to do. We don't need to know everything. So people, so that's that's politics, hiding things from the people, So until it needs to be said, but Trump, he's putting it all out there. He's not hiding nothing. He's telling everybody what he's doing, and this is what he's planning on doing.
And I actually like the level of transparency. However, I don't want too much transparency.
Right.
I think
don't show your hand all the time.
Feeding too much information to people.
Right.
People can't handle all the information. So I'm on the side of I like the transparency. However, make it simplistic. Don't tell us the whole thing. Just make it to the point where we know that, okay, we're spending this, what these employees are making $10 million a year. We talked about that last week. No federal employees should be making $10 million a year. No federal employees should be making more than the president a year. Mm-hmm. So until we understand that, I really do say this, we need to get control of our money. We need to know where it's going. Anything else in these final few seconds?
No, that was pretty much it. I just realized our time is winding up, and it was a good talk. Oh, you're already in the final remarks. Okay.
Yeah, we're in the final. We've been here for a minute.
Oh, I didn't even realize we're here for a minute.
So, we just really, in my opinion, I think we just got to take a wait and see mindset. Let's not get upset about stuff. Let's not be trying to say, I'm going to Costco because I'm supporting their DEI. Who cares? Sorry, folks, but I don't care if they support DEI or not. I'm a consumer, and as Costco members anyway, it didn't make no big difference to me because we're already members. So we've been members of Costco before all this mess started. I think how long? It's been years since we've been members.
And it's something where you just don't know what program they were doing before they decided not to do it.
Didn't care
or continue to do.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Yep.
So maybe next time we're going to lighten it up a little bit, right?
Yeah, we're going to lighten it up. That's Facebook Week. So anyway, we are out of time. Right. I'm Darnell.
I'm Angela.
And thank you for watching Garrison House. See you next week.
Bye-bye. Thank you.